I'm Andy Gale. You've all seen this slide before, I'm sure.
You don't like football then?
I like football, yeah. I'm a big fan of football, but I'd like to watch that when I'm not at the Rovers. So Hello Future, the company I work for, do DevOps stuff, web application stuff, and we're hiring, as there's a link there, which obviously you can't click on it, but you can probably remember that. So I'm going to talk about container security. So I've been doing a lot of Docker stuff recently, as I'm sure a lot of people have, and the thing that's forefront in my mind is when you're doing a continuous delivery pipeline, you've got your Docker code being continuously deployed. You don't really worry that the code inside your Docker container is out of date because you probably put the latest code inside your Docker container. So as we were doing that for one of our customers, we were just thinking, well, that's absolutely fine. But then we thought, actually, that's not fine because this customer has also got websites which they never release. So because of that, I decided to look into container security and what that might be like. So you've obviously got your own code in your container, hopefully, or you've got some kind of open source tool or something else like Apache or something like that, and you've also got some way of automating it to your internet site. You can tell I've rehearsed this very well. I did these slides today. But yeah, so the sites you deploy less frequently, you've kind of got three problems you need to solve at that point with your container. So you need to identify which of these containers have got dodgy old software in. You need to build a new container, you need to push it to production. That's quite straightforward. Hopefully, if you've got some continuous delivery type system. So how do you identify? Well, fortunately, there's now built into a lot of Docker registries online, you can actually just scan your containers and it will just continue to scan your container. It knows which version of software is in your container, which means that once that software version becomes security vulnerable, it will give you a nice little, ooh, there's an error, there's a security bug with this one. So Docker Cloud has it for free if you pay, which is an odd thing, but it's a free add-on if you pay, but it only works on private repositories. I've got two amazing, I like to do talks where I can't actually pronounce the names of the tools I'm doing. Got two here. Got this one, is it key.io? Is that how you're supposed to say that? Quay.io. They've got it in there, that's free. And Quay is owned by CoreOS nowadays, and CoreOS have also got a thing called Claw. No, either is there, I suppose. And that's free, and you can just download it off GitHub, and that's lovely. So, what does it do? Well, screenshot from Docker Cloud is it literally does the various packages installed inside your container, gives you the vulnerabilities, and it just scans that once, and then it will let you know if you go to their website and look that these containers are vulnerable. So that's also not very proactive because you actually have to go and check about your particular containers. So that's what it's like, Perl's out of date, that's terrible that you're using Perl anyway, but if you are using Perl, you should be at least using a secure version of it.
Perl 7.
I know, one day. Right, the key one, or Quay one, they have a very similar thing. As you can see, it's pretty much the same, but they have a very, very much better feature, which I'll mention in a minute because it's on a different slide. And the Claire one is just, you do it yourself, you download it, you run it against your containers and see what's vulnerable and what's not, which does allow you to automate that in some way, or maybe do a callback, regenerate your image or something like that. So the regenerating of your image, basically, Quay can notify you by email, but it'll also do a webhook to someone like Jenkins and get your container rebuilt. Strangely, it doesn't rebuild it in itself, and presumably the reason for that is if you've got like a base layer, like you've extended from the latest Ubuntu, for example, maybe that container was just vulnerable anyway, so rebuilding it wouldn't make a lot of sense, and obviously it'd have a massive load of stuff to rebuild every time there's a new security release, so I guess that's why they're not doing it automatically for you. But as I say, with Key you can file for webhook, rebuild your container, and then finally you've got to push it to production, which, I mean, you've got some automated process to do that hopefully nowadays. If you haven't, then you have to run a command, I guess. whatever. If you can't push your Docker containers live automatically, talk to me. I'll tell you about 50 ways you can do it. So, but it's not just the container, because once you've got your up-to-date containers, people think, well, I don't need to keep my software up-to-date and secure because my container's up-to-date. But that's not necessarily the case. You've obviously got your OS libraries and everything inside your container, we've covered that. But you've also still got to keep your container host up-to-date itself, and also there may be some security issues in your container platform, such as Kubernetes, blah blah blah, Docker, whatever. So, how to fix the container host is kind of entirely on how you've done it. If you've just installed Docker or Docker Engine on Ubuntu, then you still have to go and patch those systems, unfortunately. That's just the case. There are better ways of, like more lightweight distributions, like Snappy, Ubuntu Core, and Project Atomic, and CoreOS, which are just very small Linux distributions intended to run your Docker stuff for you. So that's, and they've all got a kind of really nice rancher as well. They've got a really nice way of just installing themselves over themselves and being pretty much one version. They're like version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, rather than one version of Ubuntu with 1,000 packages you have to update all the time. And the Docker Cloud, which used to be the Docker Hub, but you can now manage your instances on it and stuff like that. They've got a nice little button you can press and it updates your Docker engine version on your host, but it doesn't do the rest of it, which seems a bit silly because you update one thing, you may as well update it all. And finally, your container platform. There's sure you can tell us otherwise, but I can't see any real easy way of updating these container platforms like Kubernetes and everything like that. It kind of just seems to be a bit difficult and a bit of a pain in the backside. So the only solution I can really come up for that at the moment is use something like Amazon Container Service or Google Cloud Engine and just let them manage that for you. Not a great solution, but all I've seen is that the rest is a pain in the ass. And that is it. Next speaker, please.